Doom, Doom, Doom. It always comes down to Doom. But why not other games? I mean, don't get me wrong, Doom is an awesome game. But unfortunately, there are some games which ended up being overshadowed by it. Such as this game. Oh, you probably recognize it. If not, well, allow me to introduce you to one of the most underrated shooters back then from the late 1994 and early 1995. Yeah, how was that for an introduction? Wanton and gratuitous violence indeed. That's the badge of honor right here. So yeah, welcome to Rise of the Triad. Like I said, one of the most underrated shooters back then. Not as good as Doom, I'd say, but it still come pretty close because you had 5 different characters and they all played differently. They all had different speeds and hit points, and you can see all of this in the thread. You also had your difficulties, which all had fancy name and images. But even in such a trivial area of the game, you still had an attention to detail because there were 2 different sets of difficulties. No, wait, there are 3, holy shit. But it all boils down to basically easy, medium, hard, and finally Crazy Man, which we're gonna play. And yeah, we even have an intro cinematic, and 1 year in the future basically means 1 year after the shareware episode. So yeah, you get the story of this game inside the game itself, and not into the manual as it was the case with most other games back then. I know that Doom had its story inside the manual, and well, Rise of the Triad also had its story into the manual, and it was more elaborate than this, but hey, who cares about the story anyway? The main gist of it is, we're gonna be stuck onto this island, and we're gonna have to kill a whole bunch of people in order to save some insignificant city that is called Los Angeles. Nothing too important, but finally the game begins. This is episode 1, area 1, in the thick of it. And we're talking about areas, not levels. Right at the beginning of the level, we already get push walls as well, then touch plates, which make push walls move around. That are locked because otherwise you can't move them around. We've got a whole bunch of life items here, and we get our second pistol before we even met a single enemy. And it's a good thing because having 1 pistol into this game is pretty miserable because you've got so little stopping power, and if you're surrounded by a whole bunch of enemies, you're pretty much done for. Also, if you die, you also lose all of your weapons, so you're stuck with the pistol again. But in the meantime, we get the bazooka. The most straightforward missile weapon of the game, but still efficient enough, as you will see here. And you can also see right now the level of blood that this game has. Back then, when this game was released, it was pretty much one of the most violent games ever released. There was so much blood and gore as well, then splattering gibs all around the place. You will also notice that there's a whole bunch of power-ups in this game. We have a bulletproof armor, and now bullet weapons don't do any kind of damage to us whatsoever for about a minute. I'm not exactly sure because the manual doesn't tell how long it takes. Come on, just shoot me. No, don't shoot me anymore, you jerk. Yeah, that's a lightning guard right here, and not only they steal your missile weapons, but they can also steal your armor if you happen to wear some, but I think you also need to hold a missile weapon for that to happen. But the main moral of the story is lightning guards are humongous jerks, and to make matters worse, they're one of the most common enemies in the game alongside the low guards, which are the people in the grey outfits, which are really worthless. Well, okay, not entirely worthless, but well, they only have 1 special abilities, and it's really not the most useful one out of the bunch. While Doom was trying to strive for slightly more realistic looking levels, well, Rise of the Triad is pretty much the complete opposite. The levels are some kind of nut houses filled with traps and all sort of crazy devices, and finally, yeah, you can turn into a god. A god that has a huge ass and which shoot homing fireballs that kill everyone instantly. Because, you know, in most games out there, gun mode is just the kind of things that you get as a cheat or something like that. But in this game, it's a feature! And it's the best feature of it all, because you've just cleared this entire room without any kind of sweat. We're invulnerable and we're not giving any kind of damn about what's happening. Yeah, this lightning guard is shooting bazooka shells at us. Yeah, who cares? However, you will care a whole lot more about the bazookas that lightning guards will randomly carry around, especially on Crazy Man, because there's a whole bunch of them with bazookas around, and well, they're not gonna be god eternally because it only lasts a minute. And So we have another lock push wall here, and we're gonna need to find a way to open it, because the touch plates that open said push walls is not always into the same room where you find them. Sometimes you need to look around a little bit more in order to find them, and on higher difficulties it's even more hard because the touch plates are not always that easy to see. Okay, I just pressed on it by accident, but at least we get a nice payoff out of the whole deal. The Flame Wall, which is probably the strongest missile weapon of the entire game, or at least it's my personal favorite, because you can do this with it. How good does an inescapable flaming wall advancing toward everything inside sounds for you? Well, I don't know, it has a really nice ring for it. But before we go around in order to burn some more innocent, mad clan people that want to kill us, we're gonna go ahead and have a look at some of the secret that this level has. I'm gonna warn you beforehand that I'm probably not gonna find all of the secrets into the levels, because first of all, there's so many of them, it's really hard to know where they all are, and yeah, this is our first one-up of the game right here. But yeah, going back to the secrets, it's also really hard to find all of the secrets here, because playing at the hardest difficulty also means that all of the secret walls and all of this have no significant features to make them look apart from anything else into the game. Because when you're playing on easy, all of the secret walls and touch plate are a lot darker, and even on easy I can't find all of the secrets, and there's no definite secret sources for the game, so yeah, this is mainly why. Okay, so yeah, you've just seen why we must not take lightning guards lightly, because they're just going to ruin your day entirely. But at least we get full health, only to lose it all about a second later, because we just got crushed. Since we were too slow here, we need to pick a faster character. We need one of the female characters in order to do this. And yeah, this is how you get into this room, by the way, because this door was locked previously, and it only opens after 2 minutes. And yeah, you can already see the huge difference of waypoint, because we have a way smaller character, and yeah, since we're playing on easy now, you can also see how darker the push walls and the touch plates are. So this is how you get this extra life, but we're gonna go back to the regular programming on Crazy Man difficulty with a crazy guy whose initials is High P Freely. Oh boy. So, what did people didn't like about this game? Well, you've seen one example right here, the kind of weird armory system into this game, because you can only hold one missile weapon at a time, and you have 3 different bullet weapons, which are pretty much clear upgrades from each other, because you have 1 pistol, you have 2 pistols, and finally the machine gun, which we might get into this level, because the high guards, which are the people that have machine guns and beards, sometimes drop them onto the floor whenever you kill them. Also, the other thing that people probably didn't like too much about this game was the engine, because this game was released more than a year after Doom, and a few months after Doom 2 too, so yeah, basically the nail that sealed the coffin of this game ultimately was the 90-degree walls. It doesn't seem like much, but hey, apparently it did, because, well, I don't know, the same people who slammed the game because it had 90-degree walls probably forgot that this game had way more features than Doom did. For instance, you could crush people by jumping over them. Hell, in Doom you can't even jump over people.
No, don't shoot, no, don't shoot, please, no, don't shoot.
And also it had enemy begging for your mercy, and then they just end up blocking your way in. Yeah, that's just a ruse, by the way, because they just wait for you to turn your back in order to sneak up and rise back from the dead to try and kill you. Just in case that you couldn't find the lightning guards even more annoying. Yeah, they shoot bazookas at you, they steal all of your weapons, and then they have the nerve to call for your mercy. What a bunch of jerks, I hate them. Alright, will this high guard finally have a machine gun for me? Yes, it does. Yeah, I'll show you mercy, you asshole. But yeah, you've just seen how useful a flame wall can be. If you're waiting for the right opportunity, it can kill so many people. So let's try out the machine gun. Yeah, that's the ultimate bullet weapon of the game right here. And to make things even better, they have unlimited ammo as well, just like the pistols. Once that you've got the machine gun, you're pretty much set into your great journey in order to overthrow this giant regime with peoples that are dressed like Nazis for some reason, because, well, we must not forget that this game was first designed as a Wolfenstein 3D sequel, and some of the elements of the game just showed that. Oh, and I almost forgot, you can aim into this game too, because All Doom had was auto-aim, but in this one you can manually set up your aim, so that's another innovation that the game had. And upon completing a level like this, you also get a whole bunch of random bonuses, which either are completely impossible to get or way too easy, but hey, that's another fun thing to do into a level, because some of the bonuses are genuinely fun to get, but some of them not as much. So anyway, that was the end of the first level. I hope that you will stick around in order to see all of the good things that this game did back in the days, and also, well, all of the not so great things, because there's a lot of things about this game that were not too great neither, but we're gonna save this story for another day. Right now, let's just focus on one more great addition that this game had. Seeing your death in slow motion, in a 360-degree camera sweep, just like they do in all movies nowadays. Anyway, stay tuned for the next video. Episode 1 Area 2, Winding Way.